Good evening, Wareham, and welcome to the Select Board meeting of December 10th, 2024. May I have a roll call, please?
Present tonight is Ms. Quirk, Ms. Whiteside, and Ms. Corbett.
Now may I have, and absent is Mr.
Chadwick and Mr. Bessie.
Right. Also present is Mr. Sullivan, and I believe Mr. Bowen is honing in too. I need a motion to have a clerk pro tem, please.
I so move
For who?
for Sarah to be the clerk pro tem for tonight.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to have a clerk pro tem. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, yes, it is so. The Pledge of Allegiance, I'm going to ask Emma Sylvia, who is our JROTC cadet, to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Would you step forward, please?
I pledge of allegiance
to the flag
Of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emma, would you stay standing and with your parents on either side of you, right up in front of us, please? And Colonel as well? Right? Yeah, excellent. We have a special presentation tonight for you. Ms. Corbett?
For Emma Silva for the Legion of Valor Award with Bronze Cross. This National JROTC Award is being presented to Cadet Lieutenant Colonel and Battalion Commander of the JROTC program, Emma Sylvia. The award represents countless hours of service to the community, excellence in academics, and demonstrated exceptional leadership which define character. The award is the Legion of Valor with Bronze Cross for achievement and is given to a select group of young men and women across the nation. Emma, who is a senior at Wareham High School, was the only student in Massachusetts to receive this honor. The Legion of Valor organization is composed of veterans who have distinguished themselves by earning either the Medal of Honor or their respective service highest award for gallantry, the Navy Cross, Army Distinguished Service Cross, or Air Force Cross. This award is open to all high school JROTC and college ROTC cadets. The Legion of Valor Bronze Cross is awarded to JROTC cadets who demonstrate outstanding performance, dependability, and good character, adherence to military discipline, and leadership ability. The criteria for this award make it exceptionally difficult to earn, as only the most dedicated cadets are chosen. Emma was one of 60 JROTC cadets selected to win this award from the 3,390 JROTC programs around the world. It is with great pleasure and humility that the Select Board award our certificate of appreciation to Emma Sylvia, presented this 10th day of December, 2024, Wareham Select Board.
We will shake your hand, and we will hope that the press gets some nice pictures. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's do this. Colonel, go that way. Okay. And Emma, we're gonna go this way. Down to maybe. Okay, prom setup. Let me. Here you go. Oh, can we say pizza, cheese, and whatever? Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Talk to you soon.
Ms. Corbett, next we have appointments and reappointments.
Yes, we are here to appoint Joseph Still to the Conservation Commission. Yep. Are you Mr. Still? No.
Okay. He's currently an associate member, and has been for almost a year. And I know from the chair of the Conservation Commission that they did, in fact, last week, vote unanimously to recommend that he take the full-time position, move up from an associate position. So I would accept a motion.
I move that we accept Joseph Still's application to become a member of the Conservation Commission with a term to expire June 30, 2026.
I second that
Motion
motion.
made and seconded to appoint him with that expiry date. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so. Next, we do...
Wait,
I'm sorry.
are you here just to be in attendance, or are you here for the Sewer Commission? Sewer Commission. I was afraid of that.
Yeah, okay. No, not tonight. You didn't get the message? No. Okay, the applicant is enjoying his father's 102nd birthday party today. And I was told that a couple of days ago, so this has been postponed until the 17th.
Okay. Yeah, I met with him yesterday, he didn't say anything.
I don't think he might have known. There's
Wait.
been some miscommunication about when you were supposed to be here. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Good catch.
There are no hearings, so we move ahead to licenses and permits.
Mhm.
Review and possible vote on application for seasonal liquor license extension from Pankaj Incorporated, doing business as PK Liquors, 3074 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham.
So what you should be doing is say, I move to...
I moved to do that.
I second your motion.
Motion made to approve as read into the record. Is there any further discussion on the motion with a second? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, yes, it is so.
So I move for the renewal of the following year-round retail package goods store all alcoholic beverage licenses for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of Massachusetts General Laws, as noted in the agenda, items 1 through
1 and 2. Only 1 and 2.
1 and 2, items 1 and 2.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve as listed on the agenda. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. Ms. Corbett?
I move the renewal of the following year-round retail package goods store wine malt beverages licenses for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed on the agenda, items 1 through 3.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve items 1 through 3 as printed on the agenda. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
Myself, aye, it is so.
I move the renewal of the following year-round common victualler all alcoholic beverage licenses for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda, item 1 through
17.
17.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve as listed on the agenda, items 1 through 17. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I think in the previous item, we called for approval of 1 through 3 and not 4.
That's correct. This was a transfer of a license
Okay.
and with a name change, so it ended up on the agenda because we hadn't yet been notified of the name change. It will come back next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
I move the renewal of the following year-round common victualler wine and malt beverages license for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda, items 1 through 3.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve is listed on the agenda. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so.
I move the renewal of the following year-round club alcoholic beverage license for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, item 1. As printed on the agenda, item 1.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve is listed on the agenda. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so.
I move for the renewal of the following year-round Veterans Club all alcoholic beverage license for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda on item 1.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve is listed. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Yes, it is so.
I move for the renewal of the following year-round inn-holder all alcoholic beverage license for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda under item 1.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve is listed on the agenda. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
Myself, yes. Aye.
I vote for the renewal of the following year-round, I move to renew the following year-round Farmer Series pouring permit for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda under item 1.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve is listed on the agenda. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so.
I move for the renewal of the following year-round common victular license for the year 2025 under the provisions of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda, items 1 through 31.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, items 1 through 31. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so.
I move for the renewal of following annual entertainment license for the year 2025, weekdays only, under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 138A, as presented in the agenda, items 1 through 14, and items 16 and 17.
Seconded.
I think it's section 183A. You read 138.
Oh, 183A.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve as listed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for, oh, we're holding one out.
Yeah, I skipped 15.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve as read into the record or listed on the agenda with the exception of item 15. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so.
I move to renew the following annual entertainment license for the year 2025, Sundays only, under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 136, as printed in the agenda, items 1 through 11.
I second.
Motion made and seconded to approve as listed. I'm just looking at this. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so.
And it's my understanding we're going to skip M. That's,
Yes.
okay. So I move to renew the following Class 2 licenses for the year 2025 under the provision of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Law, items 1 through 5.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. Item 6 was not applied for, and the other 2 were duplicates. Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve as listed on the agenda, 1 through 5. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so.
I move for the renewal of the following fortune teller's license, as listed in the agenda, items 1 and 2.
I second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the renewal of the fortune teller's license as listed on the agenda. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so. And let's see, is Connor Alden in the audience?
Yes, he has raised his hand. I will let him.
Please let him in. Yeah, we'll go if we can. Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll skip some of the other stuff and then just come back, hear his presentation, if you don't mind. And for the record, we're not hearing about Discover Mashpee, we're discussing Discover Wareham. Our very able clerk in our office previously worked in Mashpee, so when you create an agenda that looks like this and you make one mistake, I'm not worried about it at all. So, Connor, if you would identify yourself for the record, please. And I know you wanted to do screen sharing, so I'm pretty sure you can do that, right? Okay. So would you identify yourself for the record, please?
My name is Connor Alden, and I am an intern with the Wareham Redevelopment Authority.
And I'm going to ask Ms. Corbett to say a word or two. Mr. Butler isn't in the audience, is he, by any chance?
I did not see.
Okay.
I'm one of the select board liaisons to the Wareham Redevelopment Authority, and Connor has been looking over the Discover Wareham website. It hasn't been updated in a couple of years, so his assignment was to go through it and update it and see what changes he could make here in the short term that would make it a better experience for folks who come to the website.
And for the record, you are a member, not a liaison.
Okay,
Yes.
I am a member.
Okay. Go ahead, Connor.
I am going to share my screen here. And is this visible for everyone? Everyone can see me, hear me, everything? Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Corbett, for the introduction. As I said, my name is Connor Alden, and I've been working with the Redevelopment Authority as an intern for about 4 months now. And, excuse me, today we are going to talk about the Discover Wareham website. And my main reason or my main goal for the presentation right now is first and foremost to make everyone in attendance right now and watching afterwards that the website exists. It is out there and you guys can all visit it. So whether you have already heard about the website in some capacity, whether that's from the regular Wareham website, or if this is news for you, the QR code is right here for you to take a second and pull out your phone and visit the website. If you're on a desktop, the website is discover-wareham.com. And yeah, the second reason that I'm here is to show you the progress that's been made so far on the website and what changes or additions have been made. And the third is to show everyone how Discover Wareham compares to similar websites and to talk about the goals that were presented in front of the WRA and agreed upon with the WRA for the website and see how much progress has been made there. So the challenge, oops. There it is.
It's easier to see this way.
Having some issues loading. I'm sorry. Let me just redo this quickly. Good. So the challenge for the website that I undertook was to give the Redevelopment Authority an accurate diagnosis of the website based on my own research and professional experience in the marketing and communications field. And the decision that the WRA was to come to at that time was whether or not to discontinue the website and figure out basically if it was worth it to continue to dedicate resources to the website. And my diagnosis that I made to the WRA was that the website wasn't making an impact. As we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the website was created and kind of left alone for some time, a period of almost 2 years. And even though the website wasn't making an impact and not getting a lot of views or eyeballs, it did have a lot of potential, or does have a lot of potential, because it had already been made. The costs, I guess you could say, were already incurred there to the firm that built out the website originally. And there was a high return on investment because of its low cost of maintenance. The website costs about $30 monthly to have up and have live, so it's not very expensive. And after this diagnosis, the WRA decided to continue to dedicate its resources, aka my time, to regular management of the website. And the graph that we're looking at here kind of shows the impact of making changes over time to the website. These were really gradual at first, but I think slowly it definitely has an impact. So here you can see August 15th was roughly when I took over, you could say, and the website was averaging around 150 visits daily. There was a spike here because of a metric change. You can see it peaked out at 1,000 visits, and that's the end of August. That was before any real significant changes were made. And then this period from the end of August into the beginning or mid-October, again, still averaging around 100 to 200 visits daily. And once real changes and content updates were made to the website, the views almost doubled or tripled, you could say here. And we're averaging right now about 300 visits daily for the website. I'm sorry. So now I am going to skip through this quickly, but this is a quick list of some progress that has been made already to the website. I would invite everyone to check out all of these features or discover them on their own time. But like I said, I'm just going to run through these relatively quickly. So right here, what we're looking at is the restaurant information on the website. So before these pictures with the red border was what we had for all of the restaurants in Wareham. And it was essentially just the name of the restaurant, the address, phone number, and a link out to the Facebook page. And what has been changed here is that now all of the websites are displayed in a similar way. So all of the different restaurants are on the restaurants and hospitality page on the website, but each of them has their own individual page now with a little bit of copy or writing about what makes the restaurant unique. And since it has its own page, we can also measure and gauge interest on individual restaurants in Wareham, because now we can actually track how many visits each individual page is getting. A few other additions to the website that were made were pop-ups. Also very simple but very effective way of getting eyeballs on whatever kind of content you want to, whether that's an event. For example, this is a pop-up that was live on the website for the Veterans Day Parade, and it linked out to a short article about some information on the parade and what was going on the 11th. And one of the most recent additions to the website is the property listing section. One of the goals of the WRA is to promote local business, and in this vein, I built out the property listings page on the website, and this is where commercial and residential properties are going to be populated. So, yeah, essentially this is an automation where I'm entering a little bit of copy about the commercial property, what makes that unique, and some other information, square footage, price range, and then this will link out eventually to the Zillow equivalent for commercial real estate, and for residential real estate, it would link out to the Zillow page for that property. So these are a few things, and like I said, this is not everything, but these are some of the big changes that were made. So now I'm going to tell you about how our website, or the Discover Wareham website, compares to local websites with similar functions. So the graphic here on the left edge is a comparative analysis that I did against other websites. So we have here Visit Mass Tourism, Provincetown Tourism, See Plymouth, which is the tourism site for Plymouth, Visit Concord, and the Cape Cod Canal Region Chamber of Commerce. And so, without going into too many of the numbers, how we compared to these other websites was not well. You can see here that our block on the graph is not very big compared to the other ones. So based on this research that I conducted, I decided to focus on 4 basic but very essential metrics for websites. Here, the views, the pages per visit, the session duration, and the bounce rate for the website, which is the period of time that people are going to the website if they immediately realize that they're on the wrong site, or there's something on the website that they don't want to see or can't find what they want, then they leave the website, and that counts negatively towards the bounce rate. And so in September, the WRA had set goals based on my guidance, and you could see these circles for each month show the progress for each goal. So back in September, we had set a goal of monthly views over 5,000. In September, we were about 2,500. In October, once we were adding content to the website, this was met pretty quickly. We were already at 7,000 views, and then we've come down a little bit since then. Same thing with pages per visit. In September, we had thought that a good target would be 2. So one user would visit 2 different pages before they would end their visit to the website. And this was also reached in October and almost matched in November. The session duration hasn't changed much over time, but that's something that we can focus on, building out more long-form content and blog posts on the website. And the bounce rate has also gone down significantly since we've made changes to the website. So yeah, it's good that the goals were met quickly, but also I think that now that these goals have been met and have been consistently met for the past few months, that it's time for the WRA to set some fresh ones, which I will suggest to them in our next meeting. And yeah, so the plan for the future of the website is to continue to target ambitious but achievable goals, and to continue to build out content for the website and illustrate to everyone visiting the website what makes Wareham such a great place to live, work, and play. So thank you everyone again for your time, and if anyone has questions or comments, I'm happy to hear those now. If anyone is watching this meeting after the fact and has any thoughts or feedback to share, my email's right here. And yeah, I'm always happy to hear that.
Ms. Quirk hasn't seen this presentation. Ms. Corbett and I got most of it from you, but Ms. Quirk, go ahead.
Oh, first of all, congratulations. This is really good work and very much in tune with, I think, where the town would benefit from going, which is really highlighting those things that make this town special, which are many things. And so congratulations for this work. I really appreciate it. Curious if you can tell, based on the numbers that you can see, if there are particular parts of this this page that attract people. You know, what is it that you can maybe tell that people are going in to look for in particular? That's my first question.
Go ahead. Connor?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great question, and that's one of the initial questions that the WRA, had going into the diagnosis or going into the project in the first place. So aside from the homepage, which is where any kind of visitor would initially land, the 3 top pages behind that were restaurants and hospitality, shopping and retail, and there was also interest in outdoors. And so based on that, one of the first kind of major projects that I focused on for the website was building out these individual restaurant pages, because we had already known that that's kind of where the most amount of interest from the users were.
And I would imagine there might be some variation based on season as well. There are so many really great outdoor things to see in Wareham that are easier to access during the warmer months. So I would imagine you might see some variation from time to time based on the weather.
Yeah, so for example, along with shopping, retail, hospitality, those kinds of pages, one of the major pages that was already on the website was one of the pages with information for beaches and boat ramps. And when we started looking at kind of the back end of the website, that was one of the more relevant pages. And then now that we've come into colder months, I don't see this when I go and look at the top pages for the website. So there's, just like there is in real life in the town, there's definitely seasonality to the website too.
Yeah. That's all I have now, but again, good job and thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Connor, thank you. This was a really good job, and I really like the addition of the property listings, both the commercial and the residential. To me, that, I mean, back in the, I think it was the 2019 consultant report, and suggests where the website was first suggested, that was one of the suggestions that they had. And when I came on the WRA, that was one of the ideas I had, is in terms of making our businesses that need to be filled or need to be sold much more visible. So I'm really glad you added that.
Yeah, that was, I had a little bit of a nudge from our town planner, but that has been a pretty big undertaking of mine for the past few weeks, and I'm glad that it's finally in the final stages, because it was a lot of coding and a lot of back end, but the process is pretty simple now. So I think all of the vacant commercial properties are on the website already, and I'm going to continue to add residential properties here and there as I have time.
So adding the business, the vacant commercial properties, that was manual?
Well, there wasn't anything at all.
Yeah,
so
I know.
What I had to do was build out a template, and yeah, essentially there's a free plugin that kind of integrates to WordPress, and the WRA has also invested in a license for building out content for the website. So these two tools I used together and kind of created a template. So all of the information I just plug in, like a little bit kind of how I mentioned before, I'll plug in the price and the realtor and some information like this. And then I kind of built out how that should look. So I put in the address, for example, and the page that actually gets posted is automatically populated with a little Google map and a little image of the property and the copy that I had posted next to it. So I definitely invite people to go check that out. And yeah.
Thanks.
I have a couple of questions, and I think I know the answer, but I think the public should hear them as well. So I own a restaurant and I'm brand new to town. How do I get on your website?
So there is a contact form on the website, and these messages will go to me, the WRA intern. And if you don't see your business on the website, then that's something that can be easily fixed.
Okay. Are you highlighting local businesses as well as what I would call mall stores? Are you focusing on local businesses? Are they given equal space across the board? How do you decide on the equity of that kind of exposure?
So how I approached this was basically in line with how the content for the website was built out already. So for example, the restaurants pages, those already had a focus on what I would say are like local or non-chain stores. And so on that, I had the assumption that the focus of the WRA is also to promote these local businesses more so than these chains or larger chains. And yeah, I've been making content based on that assumption.
And then Ms. Quirk already sort of addressed the outdoor opportunities, but how... I have an issue in terms of timeliness of the content. And when we were discussing this at the WRA level, I objected basically to having the real estate listed because I thought that was not the most important thing at the moment. Having built out the restaurants and the shopping, hospitality, that kind of takes that burden off, my objection list. But how do we keep it current? We being you, the royal we.
Yeah. And are you referring to the property listings specifically or in general?
Yes, no, I'm specifically looking at the property listings because some properties in this town turn over in 2 days.
Yeah, these aren't automated, so there would have to be some kind of time dedicated to going back and making sure that those listings are still relevant. So for me, the commercial listings, like I said, were a little bit easier to manage because I think there's about 15 vacant properties on the source that I use to build that out. And yeah, the residential properties, I would say, are in a back row to the commercial properties. But yeah, there definitely needs to be some time dedicated to going through and making sure that the listings that are on the website are still relevant.
And you also said vacant properties. There are other commercial properties in town that are not vacant, but they're for sale.
Yeah.
Are they included in your...
Yep, I would say available properties, not vacant.
Okay. So that was, he said, yes?
Available properties.
Okay, yep.
Yes,
okay, thank you, yep.
So, sorry, Connor, and maybe this is too much inside baseball that we should talk about on Thursday, but I thought the commercial listings were like a feed from Zillow, so that those were updated
No.
automatically. No?
No, so those are created quickly and deleted quickly, but they're not automated.
Yeah, this is something we need to
Yeah,
talk about on
I think it
Thursday.
is something we need to talk
Because
about.
I think it's a great idea, but I don't know how sustainable it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we'll talk on Thursday, and Ken will be here.
So,
Sounds good.
other than, how does a Damien's Pantry or a Turning Point or the Elks or the Redmen or the Cape Verdean Association, how do they get exposure on this website? And yeah, that's the question. Because they are part of the community, major part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
So we need to figure that
I
out.
think,
And to
I
me,
think
or
we
open
need to figure
question
that
to
out.
the select board.
Yeah.
And I think, for example, Damien's Pantry, if they were approached, would be happy to suggest content that would be helpful
Yeah.
to them and the implementation of their programs,
Mhm.
as would the other nonprofits.
Yeah, so I guess we should put that on what we talk about on Thursday.
Mhm.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you, Connor, other than the waves going back and forth.
I thought that was cool.
I think I'm getting hypnotized.
No,
now.
yeah, I'm getting
Stop
hypnotized too.
sharing if anyone's getting
Anyway,
busy.
thank you so much. Do you have any questions of us?
No, not right now. I think anything that will need to be addressed, we can do that on Thursday.
Okay, great. Thanks so
So yeah,
much.
thank you everyone again.
Take care. And let's go back to item 8A.
Discussion and possible vote to approve curbside abatement recommendation from the Director of Municipal Maintenance in the amount of $182.50.
You make a motion?
I'm making a motion to approve as printed in the warrant.
I second it.
Is there any further discussion on the motion to approve the curbside abatement as listed on the agenda? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so.
I move to accept 2 donations from Patricia Rodriguez, each in the amount of $100 to the police department.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded to accept 2 generous donations to the police department from Patricia Rodriguez. Any further discussion on that?
Nope.
Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. Mr. Sullivan, I think discussion and possible vote to proceed with recommending to the town meeting the acquisition of property at 80 Marion Road. You had sent us information which we all had an opportunity to look at. We do have a special town meeting coming up on January 13th with a closing date of the 16th. Warrant is open.
Yes, I've sent you the information. We're looking, we have the opportunity to acquire the property, 80 Marion Road. That's if you're facing a town hall, the property to the right of it. It's a little under 2 acres. We own everything around it. So that's a chance for us to secure that for our campus site. The purchase would be for general municipal purposes. I think in the past, that was one of the locations looked at for the new elementary school. The owners didn't want to sell at that time, so the footprint of the new elementary school turned out to be much larger than that whole area. But it gives us some opportunity. I think that's one of the things we've missed out in the past. We have the funds for it. We have just under $4 million left in free cash. So it's, I guess, opportunities when or success is when preparation meets opportunity. So I think it's well worth to take the opportunity and secure that for future purposes.
Any questions of him?
I don't.
Thanks. Thank you. So we would be expecting an article from you over the weekend?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's okay with the board.
Then there's a discussion and possible vote on the host community agreement on Beachgrass Topicals LLC, and this is an amendment, and the format has been changed. Can you speak to that issue, please?
Yeah, this one is a little bit different than the marijuana, than the or cannabis retailers. Beachgrass Topicals is really small. I think mom and pop is about the best way you could put it. Location or facility, and they're basically creating the salves and ointments and things such as that. So the Cannabis Control Commission had some feedback on the agreement that we had. I think it was more based on due to their size, and since they're not a retailer. Ken spoke about it and said that using the template from the Cannabis Control Commission, especially with this type of facility, is appropriate and makes sense.
Any questions of him?
I'd just like to ask Rich if he's satisfied that this protects the town to the maximum extent possible, this new template.
Madam Chairman, through you, Selectman Quirk, yes, I believe it does, especially where it's based on what the commission itself is recommending to us.
The text that brought in is the training board, Charlie.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yep.
Just, I guess one other question, not completely related to this, but, questioning what our future is going to be with new regulations potentially on retailing marijuana cafes. I would just like to acknowledge that the state is going to be, I think, handing us something soon. Okay, then.
Came out 2 or 3 days ago.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to look at that, and I think that's a very important question for us to get on top of and make sure that we're marching forward in a deliberate and careful way.
I agree with you, and I believe those came out, I remember seeing them, maybe it was Thursday or Friday, but yes,
Okay.
they are out.
Take a look for them.
Thank you. Any other questions about that? I'll accept a motion.
I moved we authorize Town Administrator Sullivan to sign the agreement with Beachgrass Topicals LLC.
I second that
Motion made
motion.
and seconded to authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the town. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. No 48-hour business that I'm aware of. Town administrator's report. And if you
Thank you.
haven't been to his office, there is a gnome village in his office.
Don't spoil it, Judy. There's still some work to be done.
Oh, okay, then don't go to his office yet.
Bayview Park, we wrapped up the weekly meetings there today. They're going to be slowing down the work they have, obviously, for the season. Just look at, so you won't see much of the concrete or earth moving or putting in the sections for the light poles. Probably the last little bit of work we'll see is is putting in the ADA accessible ramp and landings along the gazebo. So we will have a couple more meetings on some changes to the plans that need to be done. And I would ask that if you get a chance, drive by, take a look at the granite wall that was finished, and you'll notice now the whole length is granite instead of where it was this really nice granite and then turned into concrete along it. But they did a fantastic job. And the fact that basically, 3 people could do that in 4 days once they'd taken it down it's amazing. But those were people that specific masons that all they work is with granite walls. So it's impressive to see people that are really good at what they do. Tomorrow we're expected that really nasty storm, so high wind, high rain. I know they were out there wrapping the remembrance trees, which to try and help out for loss of ornaments and the lights. But please, while you're traveling, be on the lookout. Just expect ponding on the roads. They're talking about 2 inches of rain, so it's a pretty good amount. And there's still leaves that are blowing into the roads that get caught in the catch basins. So. And then the last one, I just wanted to thank everybody involved in the Christmas parade. Nora and I attended, and it was a great job. Obviously, the residents doing such an amazing job, and Wareham Village Association, and everybody from municipal maintenance, Wareham PD, that really does a ton of work. It was great to see Santa underneath the gazebo over at Warren's place. But what was really good was seeing in the parade themselves, from the Wareham Police Honor Guard, to the health department dressed up as the Grinch. I think usually they call me that, but it was good to see them, and the water pollution control facility folks. They all look like they're having a blast, so that was fantastic. So thanking everybody that was involved.
Thank you. Liaison reports, board comments?
Nothing.
Okay.
I have a couple. I volunteered at the Council on Aging Christmas party. It was well attended. It was 125 people were there, lots of volunteers, and it's just a good time. Everybody gets dressed up in Christmas attire. It's just a lot of fun. Of note, there was a presentation by a couple of the volunteers that are also with the Elks, but were also part of Susan Williams Gifford's team, and they presented a $3,000 check from her estate to the Council on Aging, and as well as a $4,000 check from the Elks. So that was really a good moment. And upcoming this Saturday is Christmas in the Village in Onset. It's noon to 3 p.m. There will be a trolley taking people around to the various venues in Onset and the library, will be open, the Spinney Library will be open, and there will be cookie decorating. So make sure that you join in the fun this Saturday from noon to 3. That's it.
Thank you. Couple of things. I learned this today, I don't know why. If you are decorating your car with Christmas lights, you can't do that at night. You will get pulled over and you might even get a ticket. And the reasoning is, when you think about it, it's dangerous and distracting. So, I learned that today. I would remind you all that it is hunting season and you should be wearing international orange. And just because it's Sunday doesn't mean that you should not be wearing your orange. Unfortunately, not everybody pays attention to the rules. If you're on, land that supposedly isn't being hunted, I would tell you that that is probably not accurate, and you should always be protective of yourself and anybody that's walking with you or any pets. I want to remind you that there are several things going on this weekend, coming weekend. This past weekend, there were several fairs. I think there was something like 5 different things going on at the same time. Particularly in Onset Village, there are lots of little shops, medium-sized shops that offer kind of neat stuff for people who live in Wareham or in Onset, and I would urge you to go shopping there, as well as visit the Christmas in the Village. I was going to mention the cannabis control regs that I saw the draft of, so I'll go along with that. The trees in Bessie Park are all sold. I think there are only 2 that have not yet been decorated. They look tremendous. The Narrows Bridge looks tremendous, and again, you mentioned Mr. Menard and his team. They just do a great job. And I think that's it.
Are we going to approve the meeting minutes?
Yes, please.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes of November 19, 2024.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve those minutes. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. Is there any other business to come before us? We will be, let me just make the following announcement. Next week, we will be having an executive session on Monday with the Planning Board. On Tuesday, we will be meeting Select Board joint with the Sewer Commissioners, and that will be fully remote meeting, and I will make sure that they understand that too, because obviously there's miscommunication. And that meeting of the 17th is the last meeting of the Select Board this year, unless there's an emergency that is unforeseen. I want to thank the office staff for being able to get through a whole lot of stuff. Again, this agenda is mammoth, and we probably will have a fairly mammoth one next week as well. Some of our businesses have 4 licenses. They have a common vic, they have an alcohol license, they have an entertainment license, and they have a Sunday entertainment license. And each one of those documents has to be prepared by the office. So there's a lot going on, and I just want to say thank you to the 2 people that we have working there who are working really hard, working really well together. And they decorated the office too. They hung some stockings. Go ahead.
I move that we adjourn.
I second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn and is not debatable. I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Quirk?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. We are adjourned. Good night, Wareham.